The 2010 FT Wiffle All-Star Game. Representing the American League is Stephen Gethard, Kevin Wu, Mike DeMarco, and Brian Argenzio. For the National League is Vince Danziola, Kelvin Jan, Nelly Gasco, and Jimmy Decker. The AO would be up first, Stephen Gethard leading him off. Kelvin Jan starting on the mound for the National League. Top one with a 1-2 count. First batter of the game, Stephen Gethard grounds back to Kelvin Jan. Easy flip over the first, one away. Kevin Wu up next for the National League. The 5-1 count. He works a walk. And there's a base runner for the American League. Up next is Mike DeMarco with the runner on first. He also works a 5-1 count. And there's ball 6 high and tight. 2 guys on for the American League. Jan having some control problem. 5-0 count on Brian Argenzio, and he takes the slider too far outside. Bases loaded. Stephen Gethard, 4-2 pitch. He's late on the riser. Jan works out the base loaded Jan, and we go to the bottom of the first. Vince Danziola leads it off for the National League, and he swings and misses on the 3-2 pitch, a drop, 1 away. Jimmy Decker up next, full count, and he watches that one too far outside. Decker works the walk, and there's a base runner for the National League. Kelvin Jan hitting third for the National League, the 1-2 count. Gethard gets him swinging at the drop, works out of the inning. Top 2. Kevin Wu would lead off for the American League. 2-2 count, and he watches a riser right down the middle, looking at the strike 3. Mike DeMarco up second, 1-1 count, and he pops it up into foul territory. Vince Danziola ranges over. Great play near the fence. End of the top of the second. We go bottom 2. Nelly Gasco leads things off, chasing the high riser, the 1-2 pitch, and that'll be the first out. Up next is Vince Danziola. He watches the drop just a bit low, works a walk. Jimmy Decker up third in the inning. The 2-2 pitch is the drop, swinging and missing. Gethard gets out of the jam. And we go to the top of the third. Brian Argenzio leads things off. The 3-0 pitch grounds right back to Jan, and there's 1 away. Stephen Gethard up next. Gets hit by pitch twice in one at bat, and by rule he is allowed to take first base. So there's a runner on first for Kevin Wu. Wu has the 5-1 count, watches that one a bit far outside, and he gets a walk. So there's 2 guys on now for Mike DeMarco. Let's see what he can do. This is a real threat for the American League in the third. Jan gets an 0-2 count, and he gets DeMarco swinging strike 3. Gets out of the jam. We go to the bottom of the third. 1 run can win it for the National League. Kelvin Jan up first, hits a dribbler back to the mound, over to first, and that's the first out of the third. Nelly Gasco up next, and he swings and misses. We are going to extra innings. So we're on to the 4th inning. Brian Argenzio would lead things off for the American League, and he watches a drop, and there's the first out of the 4th. Stephen Gethard up next. Kelvin Jan with a 1-0 count on him. Gethard hits a dribbler, third baseline over the bag. Vince Danziola, great play, but Gethard just barely beats it out. After a little bit of arguing, it was ruled that he was safe. Kevin Wu watches strike 3. That play at first was irrelevant, and we go to the bottom of the 4th. Vince Danziola will lead things off. 1 run can win it. He rips a liner to center field. It gets stuck in the bush. Brian Argenzio pulls it out and throws it over everything. Danziola running hard. Wu retrieves the ball and throws it. Holds Danziola to second base. So right now the National League is in a good spot. Jimmy Decker, a hit could win this game for them. And he does just that. But wait, Kevin Wu gets a great catch, one-handed, throws it over to second. That's a double play, getting out of a huge jam. What a play by Kevin Wu. Let's get another look at this one. A one-handed grab on the hard-hit liner. Turns in a quick transfer and a throw to second. just barely getting Stanzio. Great play, a game-saving play right there. Top of the 5th, we start this inning with the bases loaded to speed up the game and try to get a conclusion. DeMarco with the 1-2 count, swings and misses. That's the first out of the 5th. Remember, there are bases loaded, so Brian Ardenzio with a 3-1 count lifts one over Meligasco into the bush. That would be a ground rule double. 2 runs will score. Gethard and DeMarco both score on that play, and the AL has a 2-0 lead. That's huge at this point in the game. But that's not all. Gethard was up next, and he takes the low riser down the left field line, just fair, off the house, a 3-run home run, giving the American League a 5-0 lead, considerable lead at this point in the game, and that should about do it. But that wasn't all for the American League. Kevin Wu continues the hitting. He lifts this 1-0 pitch over Vince Stanzio in left, off the shed. That's a single. 3 straight hits off Kelvin Jan. But Jan was able to work out of it, getting Mike DeMarco to look at the 3rd strike drop right down the move. Bottom of the 5th, last chance. National League needs 5 runs. With a 1-2 count, Gethard gets Jan swinging at the high and in riser, and that would be the first out of the 5th. Meligasco would be the last hope for the National League. With a 3-1 count, he pops it up in the infield. Brian Ardenzio is under it, makes the play, and that's the game. A 5-0 win for the American League in the 2010 FT Wiffle All-Star Game.